So there was a manga artist that like came out recently that was criticizing a lot of stuff about modern day like mangas, like stuff like how they address stuff and like the ways that they're saying in the most popular series. And like I'm gonna read off this article for you that was presented on Anime News Network. Japan is an enormously competitive and demanding society, as any of shonen action manga probably knows. Students go to cram school after their regular classes, office workers work late, and there's a frequently used word, gambaru, meaning to do your best. But manga artist Michiko Toei, who's done series which, I'm going to be honest, no one's fucking heard of, like Konserji, The Last Restaurant, Yokai no Shinikuin-san, believes that modern pop culture is instead setting low standards and validating mediocre achievement for its audience. He looked to Twitter to explain, I'm wonderful just the way I am. Each of us is special by nature. You don't have to be number one. The truth is, all the creative works that say this are lying to make sales. If they say it, everyone will be happy and buy them. If we really believe this, making recovery in our lives become harder. From the late 90s to the early 2000s, themes like you don't have to put in effort, you don't have to overdo it, and you don't have to persevere become common. Like, take a look at the lives of people who understand at the time during like the Sentis and all that, like the protagonists of the Sentis. Like, you understand that at a time you didn't have to put your life into an organization, mission, or skills. You wouldn't be accepted if you didn't put your all. Well, alright, maybe I've got the feeling that this goes too far, but if you don't put everything you have into life, you'll be left with nothing with regret. Putting everything you have into life might be a weird expression, but isn't the outlook of someone like Kazuhiko Shimamoto better? Like, so this guy, especially like reading this off and all that, is kind of interesting. Like, and the guy that he was referring to is like a manga, he was described by like words what it is. He's like, I think he's done like Blazing Transfer Student, Ashito no Joe, which like Ashito no Joe is like heavily fucking respected. But coming into this, it's like, wow, this guy sounds really fucking, I'm not gonna lie, the first thing that came to my mind was, you sound so fucking pissed off and petty at the world because your series isn't the one that is doing those. Like, here's the thing with manga and like, especially with anime, and I've learned this as like going, seeing a bunch of series and all that. Like, come to, like, I'm going to give a good example of Medaka Box. Medaka Box originally was just, doing its own thing, had a slice of life thing, and, it wasn't doing too well, and they had to change it into a battle manga, otherwise it wasn't going to be doing well, it wasn't going to be like that. Hungry Joker by Yuki Tabata was another series which failed in the end. It only had like 24, 25 chapters, and the reason, like, a lot of people say that it failed was because, it didn't have any of that, Gambaru, do your best. Like, the main character was very weird, and his whole little catchphrase was let's begin the experimentation, and it focused a lot on scientific stuff, and it wasn't enough for like younger readers to really get into. Whilst like a big thing about the main character Asta in Black Clover is that he's started from the bottom and now he's here, and he's like never giving up, I'm never gonna do that. And the thing is, though, is that Japan is such a competitive, it's such a, what Japanese people, work over there is ridiculous. It's sick, and it's the amount of hours, the amount of days that they put into stuff and all that is ridiculous, and, they would probably be having a fucking heart attack if they saw how everyone else is supposed to work, but that's just how they've always been. And what the guy is trying to say is that was completely different back in the day, like an old man, saying back in my day, manga used to have Kenshiro, and they used to tell you always had to put your all into it. I mean, he's not that old, but coming into it is that's what he's trying to say, and that everyone has to keep doing this because a lot more people can understand. It's oh, each of us is special by nature. You don't have to be number one. You don't have to push yourself. Whilst the industry is trying to say that to you, where it's no, you have to be number one, you have to put your all in, you have to do it, and it's just people don't, not everyone says that just to make sales. A lot of people that do that, obviously, it has to be done for a business standard. At the end of the day, what you're doing as well is a business, and you're making this to make money as well and express your art, but a lot of it does sound like, you've never really gotten that, big boom that you ever wanted. I think, the most that this guy's ever gotten was, a live action for one thing. And I'm being generally, this isn't just me ripping into the guy or anything like that. I've generally never heard of any of his works. This is the first time I've ever heard of this guy or any of his manga, and I've read like a little bit of synopsis about him, and to be fair, even as a cook as well, I'm not really too interested in some of their works, but it's like, coming into it, like, when I was thinking about that, it's like, I mean, I have high respect for a lot of manga artists. I have high respect for Miura, I have high respect for, like Sorachi, like, you know, like, and Oda puts a ridiculous amount of effort into his work, you know. Same thing could be said with, like, you know, like, Kishimoto has even said, like, now that he doesn't really want to do a full weekly series anymore because how back he is, and, you know, same thing could be said for, like, you know, Toriyama, like, doesn't want to do it anymore like that. That's why he has, like, he has an artist do it, and he just does a story like that. He doesn't want to do it on his own. The last thing that he said he would be doing, like, properly on his own was a Space Galactic Patrol Jaco. And that's, you know, how it's been, and it's just like, it's a hard fucking world to be a manga artist, and a hard thing for everyone, and it's a hard industry, but just because someone says that I'm wonderful just the way I am, or every one of us is special, you make it sound like you want everyone to be mindless drones, and Japan does need to change. Like, Japan really does need to change its ways and all that. Like, even if that means lowering down, like, the amount of stuff that they make and all that, and lowering down, like, their living, like, facilities are fucking ridiculous, and, like, the work, like, that they do is ridiculous and all that, and this is what leads to Japan not being able to have children, not being able to be happy, and just, like, always being bored, like, having this scenario of, like, I've got to keep doing this, I've got to do it, I've never got time, like, I've got to be good in society because this is what it is, and it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's honestly, it's fucking ridiculous what they have to do there, and you just can't, like, mate, if their only light at the end of the tunnel is reading a manga, like, every now and then, that free time, and it's like, you know, and maybe it cheers them up by saying, you know, I'm wonderful just the way I am, what I'm doing is fine, that's fine. Like, maybe you want to get your fucking old ass out of, like, that fucking mentality, like, you know, maybe that's just how I am, though, like personally and all that. To me, you're all, like, as fucking horrible as this is going to sound out, like that, you're all very special snowflakes. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of what, you do what you want to fucking do. I'm doing this video right now because I want to do it. Not because I've been forced, like, oh my god, I've got to get 5 videos out of the end. No, I'm not doing that. Like, at the end of the day, you're your own person. You're your own guy. You make your own decisions. You want to watch this video? That's your decision. You don't want it to watch this video? That's your decision. Like, you want to become a lawyer? Your decision. Don't let assholes like this guy kind of, like, trying to do that. And especially with the manga artists, it's like, it's a hard industry, and it's sometimes that they have to do these kind of mentalities. Fucking fine. Like that, and, like, most of the people do that and all that have good reason, because that's why they want to express their ways, and, like, you know, they want to express how they feel, and it's like, yeah, it's a kind of thing where it's like, okay, maybe this is a successful thing to do about it, but what else would you rather than fucking do? Like, I don't think a lot of people don't want to work at a shitty job like that, or, like, an office job. Maybe this is, like, the only kind of happiness that they can do by expressing themselves, and, like, that's the best way, like, how Japan's probably able to escape from their, like, miserable reality is by being able to express themselves in their arts, in their music, in their, like all their culture. This is the best, like, the way they've had to do it, and I genuinely hope that someone changes that stuff, because Japan is dying. Like, you know, it's ridiculous, like, how little, like, childbirth is there. Like, I really, like, I hope at some point and all that, like, I hope, like, Japan picks its feet up again from the low birth rates and stuff like that, because they're fans. I enjoy a lot of their culture. I think, like, you know, it's what the channel's focused on, really. So it's like, you know, I don't know, just guys like this kind of piss me off in a way, but I can see what he's trying to say. There are better ways of saying it, though, so I'm going to end it off there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. What do you think about this guy? Did this guy piss you off kind of in the little way that I did? And regardless of what, you do what you want to do, guys, and all that. Like, you know, like, as long as it doesn't involve hurting, like, you know, maliciously, like, affecting people or, like, creatures or all that, like, you're fine in my books and all that. You be who you want to be, date what you want to date and all that, you know, like, work what you want to work, you know, that's all it is. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.